A Madison man was sentenced to 9.5 years behind bars after being charged with drug trafficking offenses. Those charges come after an undercover law enforcement agent had arranged to buy cocaine from the suspect at a local restaurant in April of last year. Upon notifying officers, Garrett Shad ran away, so that was noticing them. After catching him, however, the officers thoroughly searched his vehicle and found 114 grams of meth, 12 grams of crack cocaine, 55 grams of cocaine and 24 grams of heroin, counterfeit M30 fentanyl pills, and also Xanax pills. Officers also found a handgun in the vehicle's center console. Shad pleaded guilty to charges of possessing 50 or more grams of meth with the intent to distribute and possession of a firearm.